So I hope you are revising the topics whatever we have completed in the previous classes. Nuclear chapter we have started 3 days ago, and I think about nucleus, what is the composition of the nucleus, and what are the characteristics of the nucleus, what are the types of nuclei like isotopes, isobars, isotones, isodiaphers, isomers, mirror nuclei we have discussed, and characteristics of the nucleus we have discussed nuclear size, nuclear charge, nuclear mass, and nuclear density. In the previous class we have discussed, and about the density also we have given on a standard value 2.3 into 10 power 17 kg per meter cube. It is nearly 10 to the power of 14 times more than the density of the water. Even if you compare with the earth also, the density of the nucleus only more. So density of earth is about 5000 kg per meter cube, but the density of the nucleus is 10 to the power of 17 kg per meter cube order. That indicates the matter will be highly compressed inside the nucleus. So that is we discussed in the previous class. And moreover, the density of the nucleus does not depends upon the mass number. Whatever the nucleus you may take, it is doesn't matter, like hydrogen, helium, uranium, or plutonium, whatever nucleus you may take, the density remains constant, but size not constant, and mass also not constant, but density remains constant. That is. And one more, nuclear spin. Generally in a regular syllabus not given actually. Generally nuclear spin also one of the complicated issue, and also you have to learn in simple way. Generally about electrons, when we learn, we thought generally electrons will revolve around the nucleus. We know already electrons revolving around the nucleus, and because of the motion, what type of motion electrons have? Generally two type of motions. One is electron is rotating about the nucleus, revolving around the nucleus, at the same time electron revolving about its own axis also. So that is a spin motion. So electron has a two type of motions. One is a spin motion, and one is a rotational motion about the nucleus also. So there are two type of motions. But what about protons and neutrons inside the nucleus? Generally inside the nucleus we know two type of particles, protons and also neutrons. But these two particles at rest are in motion. Outside the nucleus there are electrons, but these electrons are revolving around the nucleus. But generally we thought protons and neutrons also at rest, but they are not at rest. They are also having some motion. So protons and neutrons are also having two type of motions. One is rotational motion, and one more spin motion. They are also having two type of motions. So because of the rotational motion, they are having some angular momentum. Correct? There are two type of motions we can say. One is rotational motion, that is nothing but fifth property, nuclear spin we can say. Generally, what is a nuclear spin means? Inside the nucleus, nucleons are having two type of motions. One is circular motion or rotational motion, and the second one they are having a spin motion. About their own axis they are revolving, at the same time they are also revolving about the center of the nucleus. So because of the rotational motion, they are having two types of angular, two types of momenta. One is because of the rotational motion, they are having rotational angular momentum. They are having a rotational angular momentum. Angular momentum already we know. The moment of linear momentum is called angular momentum. At the same time, because of the rotational motion, they are having some magnetic momentum also. Any charged particle is in motion, generally there is a flow of current. So because of the flow of current, there is a production of magnetic field. So we can expect some rotational magnetic momentum. And at the same time, because of the spin motion of the nucleons, also we have two type of momenta. One is spin angular momentum. Spin angular momentum. At the same time, it is also having some spin magnetic momentum. Spin magnetic momentum. Generally, what is the total angular momentum of nucleons means we should add rotational angular momentum plus spin angular momentum. It is equal to total angular momentum of the nucleons. If you want to calculate total angular momentum. Here I am writing a short form only that represents a total angular momentum of the nucleons is equal to rotational angular momentum, means it is actually you should take a vector sum, plus it is equal to spin angular momentum. So while I am writing a short form, but you can take a symbols also, no problem, but I am writing only short form like this. So here you can write angular momentum, means you can write L bar also. L bar, L is equal angular momentum. Here a magnetic momentum, you can write a mu bar also, okay, but I am writing like this. The total angular momentum of the nucleons is equal to the vector sum of rotational angular momentum and the spin angular momentum. That will give the total angular momentum of the nucleons. But what about the total magnetic momentum? Total magnetic momentum is equal to the vector sum of, so now what we should add? Rotational magnetic momentum and also spin magnetic momentum. These two we should add, is equal to the vector sum of rotational magnetic momentum and spin magnetic momentum. So that will give the total magnetic momentum of the nucleons. This total magnetic momentum is also called as nothing but nuclear spin. That's only nuclear spin. So it is nothing but nuclear spin of the nucleons, which is also called as nuclear magneton. It is also called as a nuclear magneton. Generally, the magnetic momentum of electron is called Bohr's magneton. Magnetic momentum of electron is called Bohr's magneton, whereas magnetic momentum of the nucleons is called as nuclear magneton. But how to find this nuclear magneton means a simple formula. It is equal to EH by 4 pi m should write, or mass of the proton should write like this. So by using this simple formula, you may calculate the nuclear magneton also. E is equal to charge of the proton, H Planck's constant, and 4 pi constant, mass of the proton. We know all these values. By substituting the value, we can obtain the required value also. Whereas if you want to find a Bohr's magneton, not for this one, if you want to calculate magnetic momentum of electron, means a Bohr's magneton formula, mu E is equal to EH by 4 pi into ME you should take. EH by 4 pi, check here, total same. Here mass of the proton, here mass of the electron. But which value is more and which value is less? Except denominator m, remaining all the letters are constant only. So mu is inversely proportional to m. Less the mass, more the magnetic momentum. More the mass, less the magnetic momentum. If you compare electron and proton, which will have the less mass? Mass of electron is less comparing to proton. That's why whenever mass of electron is less, magnetic momentum of electron is more. So then you can write mu E is greater than mu N. Magnetic momentum of electron is greater than the magnetic momentum of nucleon. That's important. If you required values, you have to substitute the value here and you may calculate. Correct. How to calculate means charge of electron we know. I'll write the data. Later I may try and calculate this one. 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Planck's constant 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 divided by 4 into 3.14 into mass of the proton 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 27. So we'll get approximately 5.05 into 10 power minus 27 joule per Tesla. We'll get the value. Then we'll try it later, calculate. That is about nuclear spin. So generally electrons are having the spin equal to integral multiples of the h by 2 pi. That equal L equal mvr equal nh by 2 pi given. Angular momentum of electron is always integral multiples of h by 2 pi. Whereas nucleons are not having integral multiples. They are having a half integral multiples. That equal 1 by 2 into h by 2 pi should write. Maybe plus or maybe minus we should take. So what is the nuclear spin of the nucleons means they are having only half integral multiples of h by 2 pi, whereas Bohr's magnet are nothing but we discussed electrons. Electrons are having the magnet angular momentum integral multiples of h by 2 pi, nh by 2 pi formula given. That you have to remember carefully. But in regular PUC syllabus, no need to remember this one. For theoretical concept, remember the concept only. So note down this value and try it later. And in case of the Bohr's magneton also, may calculate same way and verify whether mu e greater than mu h or mu n or not. You have to verify. Here also you have to substitute the value same, numerator same, denominator 4 pi also same, mass of electron placement, right? 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. So by substituting a value, you will get the required value also. These are the characteristics of the nucleus. So next concept we will discuss a simple concept. What is Einstein mass energy relation or Einstein mass energy equation? Einstein's mass energy equation. Einstein's mass energy equation or mass energy relation. Generally, the two letters or two physical quantities here they mentioned. One is mass and the second one energy. So mass is nothing but matter, correct? Amount of matter or quantity of matter. So generally, before Einstein theory, what we know generally means or what we thought generally, mass and energy both are separate entities. So both are different quantities. There is no relation between the mass and energy. So mass means the total amount of matter or quantity of matter. For example, if you take a piece of chalk, whatever the total matter contained in the piece of chalk can be called as mass. But energy means nothing but what? The capacity for doing work is called as simply energy. Like a sound is a form of energy, light is a form of energy, and also nuclear, chemical, magnetic, electrical, all they are the types of energies only. But generally throughout the universe, mass of the body should be constant. For example, if you take 10 grams of the piece of chalk, wherever you may go, like on the moon, sun or Jupiter, whatever the planet or whatever the satellite, the 10 grams mass remains constant. Whatever the speed may go, it is also constant. It is up to before proposing Einstein mass energy equation. But what Einstein is saying, mass and energy both are not separate entities, both are having some relation. So that means mass and energy both are interconvertible. That's a very important point. Mass and energy are interconvertible. What does it mean? Interconvertible means mass of a body can be converted into energy and energy can also be converted into mass. So interconvertible meaning mass can be converted into energy. Energy can also be converted into mass under suitable conditions. So for example, if you take a piece of chalk, the mass of the piece of chalk is 10 grams when it is at rest. When the same piece of chalk is moving with very high speed, nearly half of the speed of the light or comparable to speed of the light, the piece of chalk may not have the 10 grams. The mass of the piece of chalk also changes. So from Einstein equation you have to understand, mass of the body not constant throughout the universe. Whenever a body moving with a very high speed, nearly comparable to the speed of the light, the mass also changes. So mass of the body may be converted into energy. Energy can also be converted into mass. For example, I am choosing a small particle of mass m. It is moving with a speed c. Then how much amount of energy emitted means E is equal to mc square. So this equation proposed by Einstein, where m is equal to mass of the particle in motion and c is equal to speed of the particle, speed of the light, and E is equal to energy. So E means energy, c is equal to speed of light. We know already 3 into 10 power 8. M is equal to mass of a particle which is in a motion, and E is equal to energy released in this process. So from this formula, if you want to convert energy into mass, then what will get? M is equal to E by C square you should write. Something energy I have taken, I want to convert something energy into mass. Then how much mass will get means M is equal to E by C square. If you want to convert mass into energy, E is equal to MC square you should take. But for example, variation of the mass with the speed, how the mass of the body changes. Variation of mass with the speed is general formula. We can write M is equal to M naught by square root of 1 minus V square by C square we can write. Any particle when it is at rest, its mass is equal to M naught. So here M naught is called rest mass of the particle. When the particle is at rest, its mass is equal to M naught. Whenever same particle is in motion, what is the mass of the particle means we can write M. Here C is equal to speed of light. It is a fixed value 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second in a vacuum. Where V is equal to speed of the particle. Speed of the particle. For example, if the particle is not in motion, then particle not in motion means V is equal to 0. No? The particle is at rest, then V equal to 0. In this formula, if you put a 0, then what will get? 0 by something is equal to 0. 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. Root 1 is equal to 1. Then only will get M is equal to M naught, no change. So, mass of the particle M is equal to, only should write M naught. For example, if the speed of the particle is equal to the speed of the light, then what is the value? Just imagine, the particle is moving with a speed equal to the speed of the light, very high value. Then here, in place of the V, should write C. Then check what will get. M is equal to M naught by square root of 1 minus C square by C square. Because in the V place also I am writing a C. So C get cancelled. That equal to 1 minus 1 equal to 0. Therefore, M is equal to M naught by 0. Something by 0 is equal to infinity. Na? Then check, actually a piece of chalk 10 grams is there at rest. When the same piece of chalk, if you imagine moving with the speed of light, then what is the mass of the piece of chalk? Infinite. So the mass of the body is not constant throughout the universe. Only under suitable conditions it is a constant. But whenever the particle moving with very high speeds, the mass also changes. So that concept given by Einstein. So from this we can say one example. One example you can write that is a matter annihilation. One example you can write a matter annihilation. Annihilation means a destruction completely. Matter annihilation. One of the best example here, matter annihilation means a matter destruction. So means I am taking something mass, I want to convert into complete energy. It is an example for conversion of mass into energy. Example for, it is an example for conversion of mass into energy. For this I will take one electron. So symbol of electron I write like this. E minus 1 0. It is a symbol of electron you should write. And exactly anti-particle of electron I will take. It is electron. For every particle there is an anti-particle. I will take anti-particle of electron is equal to plus 1 E0, but it is not a proton. That you have to understand. Means here minus here plus means not a proton. It is the anti-particle of electron, opposite particle of electron, which is called a positron. Positron, not a proton, positron. Both are having the same mass. Magnitude of the charge also same. But one is a minus, one is a plus you should take. That is only difference. And it is electron discovered by J.J. Thomson. But a positron discovered by Anderson. The first antiparticle discovered by the scientist Anderson. That is nothing but positron. So whenever electron and a positron both are combined, or both are try to combine, and both try to cancel each other. Whenever both cancel means automatically a gamma photon will be liberated. For example, the electron having a mass is equal to 0.51. Electron rest mass energy equal to 0.51 MeV, mega electron volt, and a positron also having a 0.51 MeV, 0.51 MeV, mega electron volt. Whenever both electron and positron are combined, both will be destroyed and then converted into energy. We'll get a 2 gamma photons, and both if you combine the value is equal to 1.02. 0.51 plus 0.51 equal to 1.02 mega electron volt energy will be emitted. So nothing but that energy only writing as E, or simply gamma should write. So in this process what happened? Electron is a particle, positron also particle, both are nothing but mass, but gamma is nothing but what? Energy, radiation. So your mass is converted into energy. So that is an example, nothing but called matter annihilation. One example. Second example, right? Pair production. Pair production. That is also one of the example for Einstein mass energy equation. Pair production. Pair production is example exactly converse effect of matter annihilation, reverse process. So second example, I am writing a pair production. Pair means two particles, but here I am taking one gamma photon, but it is an example for conversion of energy into mass. It is an example for conversion of energy into mass. Energy can also be converted into mass. For this, we can take one example as pair production. Here I am choosing a gamma photon. It is a gamma photon having energy greater than or equal to 1.02. You should take at least 1.02 mega electron volt. It is a gamma photon having energy at least 1.02 mega electron volt is required. Whenever this gamma photon is made to collide with a nucleus, whenever it is collided with the nucleus means what will be happen? One beta particle, nothing but a minus 1 E0 plus 1 E0 will be liberated. So means this total energy will be converted into electron and also positron. Here gamma is energy, but electron a particle means mass, and a positron also mass. So energy is converted into mass. Then what is the energy of this electron? 0.51 mega electron volt. What is the energy of the positron? Also 0.51 mega electron volt. So here you have to understand one thing. Whenever if you want to convert a gamma photon into electron and a positron, minimum how much amount of energy required by the gamma photon? At least 1.02 MeV is required. For example, I am supplying less than 1.02 mega electron volt. What will be happen? The process that doesn't take place, correct? Because it is a minimum value 0.51. It is also minimum value 0.51, but we are supplying less than 1.02. That's why the process will not take place. For example, exactly equal to 1.02 mega electron volt. Then what will be happen? Electron and positron both will be liberated. Means a gamma photon converted into electron and also positron. The energy of the gamma photon will be shared by electron and positron. But the electron and positron will not have any extra kinetic energy. For example, I am supplying a greater than gamma photon having a greater than 1.02 mega electron volt. Then what will be happen? Electron and positron will be emitted. Electron and positron both will be emitted. Extra energy will be in the form of kinetic energy of electron and positron. For example, I am supplying energy of the gamma photon equal to 2.02 mega electron volt. How much extra is supplied? Required value 1.02. Extra 1 MeV I am supplying, correct? And what will be happen means for electron if take energy of electron is equal nothing but 0.51, correct? And positron if take plus 1 is 0, also having energy is equal to 0.51. First this will be required. Still how much is there? still 1 MeV is there. So that 1 MeV will be 0.5 will be here plus 0.5 here. Then check total value 0.51 plus 0.51 equal to 1.02 na? Plus 1.02 and adding the total is equal to 1.01 plus 1.01 total is equal to 2.02 energy. So this will be nothing but called as kinetic energy. It is also equal to kinetic energy. That's important. So exactly equal to 1.02 means electron and a positron will be emitted but no kinetic energy. Less than 1.02 gamma is there. No electron, no positron emitted. More than is there. Electron and positron emitted, they also move with some kinetic energy. So this concept also given by Einstein. So both examples. One more we can say nuclear bombs. So in case of the nuclear bomb or atom bombs, what will be happen? Inside something matter will be taken in the form of uranium or plutonium. Something will be taken, and whenever slow moving neutron is triggered, it will collide with the nucleus, and the total mass will be converted into energy also. That is also according to Einstein. We can prepare atom bombs or nuclear bombs also. They are also based on the nuclear Einstein mass energy equation only. That also correct. One example, third one, nuclear bomb is based on Einstein mass energy relation. It is about Einstein mass energy. And I'll give one example. If you convert a small mass, how much amount of energy we can obtain? So I want to convert something mass into energy, then how much energy will be obtained? Example. So convert or find the energy equivalent to, find the energy equivalent to, find the energy equivalent to a mass of, find the energy equivalent to a mass of 1 kilogram, 1 kg. 2, 3, 4 examples I'll give. So we can understand. If for example a mass increases or decreases, how it will be changes. So what we have given here, find the energy equivalent to a mass of 1 kg. Here mass m is equal to 1 kg given. And roughly I am taking a speed of light 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Now use the formula E is equal to mc square. That equal m is equal to 1 into c value 3 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square. 3 3s are 9 into 10 to the power of 16 joule. Correct? Only if you take 1 kg of the mass, if you are able to convert into energy, check how much amount of energy we obtained. 9 into 10 to the power of 16 joules of energy. A lot of energy will be liberated. Second example, instead of 1 kg, I'll take 1 gram. Then check. Find the energy equivalent to, find the energy equivalent to a mass of 1 gram. Remaining data same. E is equal to mc square. But here gram you should convert into kilogram because speed of light is in a SI system. 1 gram is equal to 10 to the power of minus 3 kg. Then from the formula E is equal to mc square, that equal 10 to the power of minus 3 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square. That is equal 9 into 10 to the power of 13. 8 whole square is equal to 16. 16 minus 3 is equal to 13. So 9 into 10 power 13 joules of energy will be emitted. One more example. Find the rest mass energy of an electron. Find the rest mass energy of an electron. Find the rest mass energy of an electron in joule in a joule, and in a MeV, MeV means mega electron volt or million electron volt. Find the rest mass energy of electron in a MeV. I'll take mass of electron m naught is equal to 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg. It is a mass of electron. 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. That is the rest mass energy of electron when it is at rest. And we know speed of light I am taking roughly 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Now if you write E is equal or E naught is equal to m naught into c square, general formula only, E equal mc square, rest mass energy means E naught equal m naught into c square. That equal 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31 into 3 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square. That is equal to 9.11 into 9 into 10 to the power of minus 31 into 10 to the power of plus 16. 81.9 into 10 power 31 minus 16 minus 15 joule. It is the value of rest mass energy of electron in a joule. One value. Rest mass energy of electron in joule. I'll convert this value into electron volt. So here what is electron volt? Whenever an electron is moving through a potential difference of 1 volt, the kinetic energy gained by electron or lost by electron is called as electron volt. So 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joule. It is a value of 1 electron volt, or 1 joule is equal to 1 by, you should write. Then I'll convert this value. Here the same way, 1 mega electron volt is equal to how much? Generally, kilo means 10 power 3, mega means 10 power 6. I'll write here 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Here mega place I'll write 10 power 6 into 10 to the power of 6 joule. That equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 13 joule. Check correct? It is a 1 MeV value. Now, whatever the value here is there, I want to first convert into electron volt. So, E naught is equal to 81.9 into 10 to the power of minus 15. Check here. 1 electron volt equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 joule. But 1 joule is equal to 1 by 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 electron volt. Now divide this one. 81.9 by 1.6. 51.1 approximately into 10 to the power of minus plus 4. Check correct? Minus 19 taken to numerator, plus 19. 19 minus 15 is equal to plus 4 electron volt. I'll write this value 0.511. 0.51 may write up to 0.51 into 10 to the power of 6. We can write electron volt. 2 digits I am adjusting left side so that it becomes 10 power 6. But 10 power 6 is nothing but what? Mega. That's only mega you should write. Therefore, the value is equal to 0.51 mega electron volt or million electron volt. Therefore, rest mass energy of electron is equal to 0.51 MeV, million or mega electron volt. But this will be in electron volt, E naught. It is in terms of electron volt. It is in terms of MeV. It is in terms of joules. So in the previous, while discussing examples, I have used this value 0.51. Correct, the pair production, or in case of the matter annihilation, energy of electron is equal to 0.51. Energy of the positron also equal to 0.51. How we got that value means it is a proof how we got this value. Same way, I'll give one more example. Try this one. It is important example. find the energy equivalent to find the energy equivalent to find the energy equivalent to 1 AMU, equivalent to mass equal to nothing but 1 AMU. Find energy equivalent to 1 AMU in joule and in MeV, in joule and in MeV, mega electron volt. Now I'll take here mass is equal to the given 1 AMU, mass equal to 1 AMU, but already we know 1 AMU is equal to value 1.6605 I'll take into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. In the previous class I think I have verified this value also, I have given. Next, C value, speed of the light. Here I want to take a standard value, the speed of the light. Actually we are taking for rough calculations 3 into 10 power 8, but actual value of the speed of light is 299, 792, 458 meter per second. It is a value of the speed of the light. Check here, more value is there, na? So here if you put the point, decimal point, 2.99792 458 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So after decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits are there actually. It is actually the speed of the light. But always we cannot use this value for calculations. That's why we are rounding up this value to 9. But this value was calculated by first the scientist Foucault. First he calculated, and later one more scientist Michelson also calculated. So here 2.9979 I'll take up to 3-4 digits after decimal point, because here also 1, 2, 3, 4 digits taken. Here also I'll take only 4 digits. 2.9979 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So use this value for calculation. Now remaining formula same only. E is equal to mc square. M is equal to 1.6605 into 10 to the power of minus 27 into 2.9979 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square. That equal first 1.6605 into 10 power minus 27 into 8.9874 into 10 to the power of 16. Now multiply these two values. 14.92. Okay, 14.92 approximately into 10 to the 35. 9235 means 4 approximately into 10 to the power of 27 minus 16 is equal to minus 11 joule. It is a one value. When a mass equal to 1 AMU, very small mass, when a mass equal to 1 AMU, if you are able to convert into energy, how much amount of energy we got? 14.92 into 10 to the power of minus 11 joules of energy will be emitted. So that's only with a small mass. But I want to express the same value in electron volt. Now E is equal to 14.924 into 10 to the power of minus 11 divided by, already mentioned, 1 joule is equal to, we should write here, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 divided by 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 electron volt. 14.924 by 1.6, 9. Okay, if we take, for example, this value 1.602 standard value, 14.92 may take up to 2 digits enough. 14.92 by 1.602, 315, 325. Here only may take up to 2 digits. 14.92 by 1.602, approximately 9.31 will get. So may take up to 2 digits. Here also may take up to 2 digits. We'll get the value 9.31 something will get. Standard value I'm writing here 315. I'm writing a standard value 9.315 into 10 to the power of 8 electron volt. Still I'm adjusted 2 digits decimal places right side. Adjusted 2 decimal places right side. Right side means E is equal to 931.5. 931.5 into 10 to the power of 6 electron volt. But 10 power 6 electron volt equal to 1 mega. Therefore, it is equal to 931.5 mega electron volt. So, energy equivalent to 1 AMU is equal to nothing but how much? Nothing but 931.5 mega electron volt. So that you have to understand carefully. So it is about Einstein mass energy equation. So based on this simple formula, E equal mc square, but numericals important. Based on this concept, numericals will be asked generally. So that is about, and here sometimes this question may be asked for 2-3 marks also. Show that 1 AMU is equal to 931.5 MeV per c square. So it is important for 2 marks, simple numerical. And after this concept, we will discuss a simple concept about regarding a mass concept only, mass of the nucleus concept only. Mass defect and the binding energy concept we will discuss. Mass defect, which we can represent with the symbol as delta M. Mass defect or mass difference, nothing but that is only. So we know the nucleus contains 2 type of particles. Generally, nucleus contains 2 type of particles. One is a proton and the second type of particle neutron. Generally, what is the total mass? Proton is having something mass. Neutron also having something mass. If you are adding a mass of the protons and the mass of the neutrons, what we have to get? The total mass of the nucleus. So generally, theoretically, experimentally, generally we will expect the same. For example, if take a piece of chalk is having a 10 grams. When I want to break the piece of chalk into 10 pieces, if you add mass of the each and every piece, it must be equal to total mass of the piece of chalk. But experimentally, it is not happening. For example, the total mass of the nucleons equal to 10 grams. Mass of the nucleons equal to 10 grams. But what about mass of the nucleus? Nucleus contains protons and neutrons. But I am saying protons and neutrons equal combined mass equal 10 gram. But what about mass of the nucleus? Also should be 10 gram, correct? But when I am calculating experimentally, I am getting only 9.9 grams. Still, how much difference is there? 0.1 gram difference is there, correct? Where this 0.1 gram has gone, that's only we are calling as mass defect. So generally, this 0.1 gram rough calculation only. Don't remember these numbers, correct? Where this 0.1 gram has gone means at the time of formation of the nucleus, something mass is converted into energy, and that energy only bind all the nucleons inside the nucleus. So that's why by its own, no proton, no neutron will leave the nucleus. Whenever the proton or neutron try to leave the nucleus, so this proton neutron is bounded by the nucleus with something energy. So that means the difference between the mass of the nucleons and the actual mass of the nucleus is called as mass difference or mass defect. That's only we are calling as a mass defect. So we can write here mass defect is equal to, or mass defect is defined as, mass defect is defined as the difference between, mass defect is defined as the difference between mass of the nucleons and actual mass of the nucleus. the difference between the mass of the nucleons and real mass or actual mass of the nucleus. But before this concept, actually we thought mass of the nucleons and the real mass of the nucleus both should be same. But after this concept, we have a clear-cut idea, both are not same. If a mass of the nucleons is equal to 100 gram, but actual mass of the nucleus may be less than 100 gram. But why this less than 100 gram means at the time of formation of a nucleus, something mass will be converted into energy, and that energy only keep all the nucleons inside the nucleus. That's why there is a difference. So we can write formula, mass defect is equal to delta M equal to mass of the nucleons. What is the formula for mass of the nucleons? Mass of the protons plus mass of the neutrons. Mass of the protons means ZMP. In the previous class already I have given. Plus mass of the nucleons A minus Z into Mn. This will be nothing but total mass of the nucleons. Mass of the protons plus mass of the neutrons. But what about the mass of the nucleus? I'll try right here. Minus Mn. That N indicates the mass of the nucleus. It is actual mass of the nucleus. Experimentally we can obtain this value. This difference can be called as mass defect. That's only called as mass defect. It is only for nucleus. Right here for a nucleus. Mass defect of the nucleus. If you want to find mass defect of the atom, then how to find? For atom, how to write means delta M is equal to, but atom contains protons, neutrons and also electrons outside the nucleus. That's why you should write mass of the protons means ZMP plus mass of the neutrons A minus Z into Mn plus atom also contains electrons. Total number of electrons equal to Z. Mass of electrons equal to, should write Me minus actual mass of the atom. That you should write like this. Check here and here difference. Here mass of the nucleons minus actual mass of the nucleus. Here mass of the protons plus neutrons plus electrons minus the real mass of the atom. That you should write. It is a mass defect of the nucleus. It is a mass defect of atom. If a carbon given, for example, carbon atom given C612, correct? So here how to calculate means here Z is equal to 6. Mass of the proton value we know already 1.00866 yesterday given, plus A minus Z means 12 minus 6. Mass of the neutron also we know, mass of the proton 1.00733 approximately given, neutron given 1.00866 minus, if a real mass of the carbon they given, we can substitute and we can calculate also. Any oxygen or hydrogen or whatever it is given, by using this formula we can calculate. And one more formula I'll give, one note point. From the formula delta M is equal to ZMP, first formula, plus A minus Z into Mn minus actual mass of the nucleus. Adding and subtracting, by ZME. Check what you'll get. ZME means total mass of electrons. Z is equal to atomic number, Me is equal to mass of electron. So in this formula, add Z electrons and also Z electrons, adding and subtracting, above formula. Check what you'll get. Delta M is equal to ZMP plus A minus Z into Mn plus ZME, first I am adding, minus mass of the nucleus minus ZME. First case I am adding and here I am subtracting, adding and subtracting with ZME. Now modify the formula, check what you will get. Here ZMP, here ZME, Z common, we take Z common. Therefore delta M is equal to Z into mass of the proton plus mass of the electron plus A minus Z into Mn, A minus Z into Mn minus minus of, I'll write it is equal to minus of Mn plus Zme. Just I'm taking here minus common, so that we'll get Mn plus Zme. But in the above formula, mass of the proton plus mass of the electron is equal to what? Real mass of the nucleus plus mass of the electrons equal to what? If take for example hydrogen atom, I am choosing a 1H1 hydrogen atom. This one hydrogen atom contains one proton inside. There will be no neutrons. One proton is there, and outside there will be one electron. Correct? In a hydrogen atom, there is a one proton, one electron. For example, if you are adding a mass of the proton and a mass of the electron, what will get? Mass of the hydrogen atom. There is nothing but mass of the hydrogen. So you should write mH. Here also, mass of the nucleus plus mass of the electrons equal to total mass of the atom. That is called nothing but total mass of M X ZA will get. Whatever the atom given, total mass of the atom is equal, this one you should write. Then I'll substitute in the above formula. Delta M is equal to Z into MP plus Me is equal to MH. I am writing mass of the hydrogen atom, Z into mass of the hydrogen atom plus A minus Z into Mn minus mass of the actual mass of the given atom XZA, like carbon, oxygen or hydrogen or whatever given, we have to use. It is also no need of any derivation, only one simple definition, one formula or 2-3 formulae for various calculations. Here we should remember this formula for mass of the mass defect of the nucleus. So this formula for mass defect of the atom, and another formula we can remember this one also. In a given numericals or given problems, mass of the proton, mass of the neutron, actual mass of the nucleus given, only use this formula. For example, they have given mass of the hydrogen, mass of the neutron and actual mass of the atom given, use this formula. Based on the given problem, we have to select the formula. Different various formulae we can choose. That's about mass defect. And here how to measure mass defect means SI unit kilogram, SI unit of delta M, SI unit of mass defect is equal to kg only. But what are other units of mass defect means generally you should take AMU, atomic mass unit also you can choose. SI unit nothing but kg, but other practical units means you may take AMU, atomic mass unit, or unified mass U should take. So next class we'll discuss about binding energy. So exactly we are saying something mass is missing in case of the nucleus. So where that missing mass has gone means we are saying it is converted into energy. So we'll discuss about the binding energy and also what is the average binding energy, and also the graph is there important 5 marks question. In next class we'll discuss those concepts. So now whatever concepts up to now completed, so take the textbook or your any previous books, so try to revise the concepts. So once if a chapter completed, I'll send the textbook chapter as well as PUC material also. Correct. So okay, thank you.